What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap. This is Smash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. This is episode 366. And on today's show, we've got the ARC World Tour 2023 results, the upsets, and of course, the announcements. And we're going to ask you guys, what makes you try a new fighting game? I'm, of course, Crash. And with me, I've got a full house of hosts. We've got Static Gorilla in the building, of course.
What's up?
Got Meza.
You.
And of course, the voice of reason on this show, we've got Ja in the building as well.
Greetings.
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome, of course, to our returning listeners for an extra credit you're giving us this week to listen in. And of course, for the new challengers that are stepping up to the cab, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So we've got a solid Arc System Works packed show today, but we've got a couple extra things to throw in there. We've had some big announcements that happened over the weekend. We've got a lot of things to get into. But if you want to get specific on what we're talking about, remember, guys, chapters are available on YouTube, on Spotify, and of course, any platform that supports Podcasting 2.0. Before we do get into all the Arc System Works announcements, results, all the crazy stuff that went down, we do have a question of the week and a poll to get through. Let's start off with the poll, actually, because it was kind of the fastest poll that we had, and also the one that we had the most messed up, a fuck up in. I'll take that. I'll completely own that. So, little hindsight here. When we submit these polls, normally Ja has us write this stuff down. I wrote it out, and I completely botched it. And if you guys noticed, Testament was on the choice list. So the poll question was, who is going to be the next DLC character for Strive Season 3, as we were getting into World Tour this weekend. Testament's in there. For you that are much smarter than me, you already realize, hey, Testament's already in the game. I know. I swear I know. But what I meant to say was Venom. I don't know why. I get those two confused all the time. I really don't even understand where that's coming from, but maybe because I see Testament and I want to say Venom or the other way around, and it's just like, yeah, it's already throwing me off here. But yeah, so we asked that question alongside Slayer, A.B.A, and an original character. Once again, this was a short poll because we got the announcement rather quickly. But actually, by the time we did close off the poll, we had 40% winning. The 40% went towards original character. With Slayer with 29% and A.B.A at 31%. So even though A.B.A ended up being the one that actually got announced, so those that actually, if we were doing Twitch points or something, we would have won plenty. But it was an original character, so no, it actually turned out being A.B.A. So anyone that did vote for Testament, I just put you in for Venom anyway. So I already knew. We already had like a YouTube vote that instantly said Venom, and that's kind of when we figured out the problem. But yeah, and as for our question of the week, this one was also posted up, of course, on our Discord, which, we'll plug in later for you guys to check out. But for the question of the week this week, want to make sure I got it verbatim down. Let me just get to it. There we go. How do you battle burnout? We had an entire discussion about it last episode. Including myself personally, as I was kind of feeling a bit burnt out on playing Guilty Gear. Or rather, I kind of like realized that over time. So we wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts are. What do you guys do to actually kind of go against it? We've had a bunch of awesome responses. We're going to pick some of the ones that I liked here. And if any of my hosts want to throw in any of them, go for it. But right off the rip, Fit Ginge posted up saying, for fighting game Burnout, I either play some Monster Hunter or something that is multiplayer and teamwork based. The other thing I'll usually do is try something I've been labbing, like not care about losing or winning, just hitting a combo or a setup, something along those lines. So basically, just get your mind off of being competitive there. Kind of funny. I want to hear Ja's thought on that one, because like going from playing a fighting game to be like, oh, I want to do something teamwork based. Ja having a track record of, if you only heard his stories about playing team-based games, you'd think he'd not just burn out, but he'd probably burn something down while he's at it.
Bridges,
Sorry, everything.
I had to do that.
The tank.
That was a pun.
I think if we just don't have the time. We don't. Like, I don't even want to get it started because we do not have the time.
Could you write a book?
Okay.
I feel like you could write a book.
Oh yeah.
He could do his own. He could do a podcast on that just by itself, just on that topic alone. Coming soon to Smash Those Buttons. Go check it out. So we got another one from Unnecessary Pepperonis. Actually, shout outs to Unnecessary Pepperonis, because actually after we got done with Arc World Tour watching, we were talking on Discord and we actually ended up playing some matches. I appreciate you sitting down and playing with me, homie. States take breaks early and often. That thing is going to be there in 2 weeks. Go do something else and come back to it. That's just facts. It's like there's just walk the fuck away. Like no one's putting a gun to your head if you're getting burnout, if you're not feeling it. There's nothing that's like constraining you. There's no reason to put that pressure on yourself to keep going, especially if you're not feeling it. Because you'll only, you'll exacerbate that kind of feeling, right? Like you just walking away is more than enough. That could help out for sure. Which is kind of like what I was talking about. Like it's like more of definitely just taking a break and just getting away from it. So definitely in line there.
I actually was going to say I agree, but I also like what Gimgaman said, which is why do I play is the giant backlog. What I do is play the giant backlog of single player games that I've forgotten about every now and then. I also try to reinvigorate my drive for a game by engaging with related content like YouTube lore videos or Street Fighter comics, anything that isn't just a game being played competitively. I do that a lot. I try to go, damn, I played for so many games on Steam. Some friends have bought games for me on Steam. Maybe it's time to just take a little bit of a break, which I've been doing. And it pays off when you come back to a game that you want to revisit that's a fighting game, or just in general, how you approach the game differently now.
Yeah, that Humble Bundle, stacks.
Neo 2 on there?
There's plenty of games. There's plenty of games. Why not, just step away and try something else? There's nothing wrong with that. But also I do like the idea of like, relating the content, like still kind of in taking like content that's related around the game that you want that you're playing, like Street Fighter. He's reading the comics or he's checking out the lore, because it's a love of the game. It like competitively is definitely a component of it, but there's definitely a love for the game. It might be the characters, like you said, the lore that'll keep you going. So you don't always have to just focus competitively. If you're just in it because you just like the world, the writing behind it, and the characters, that in itself kind of gives you a pseudo break and kind of can help, recharge the battery a little bit to step up once again to the sticks. We've had some other awesome answers in there. Some of them are like insanely long. By the way, Sodium Rising, like you got a really, really long answer. I'll try to TLDR it because I took the time to write it. I got to take the time to at least say what's up. Saying everything in life is done in moderation. There's no one thing other than maybe breathing that you should do or should be doing every day. He compares it with things like looking at pro athletes, like Olympians, like they're not constantly just running the 400 meter like every day and try. Well, I mean, they're practicing, yes, but there is a break that you should take. You should step away to kind of recoup, and making sure that the grind is healthy and not limiting other things in your life and all. Those are like kind of like the key components that I took from the answer. But there's way more to it. Sodium Rising, thank you very much for that, for the input there, and everyone else actually that did throw it in. I would read everybody's, but we're just we got to make sure we stay on the clock here. But all love to everyone that has submitted. We do this every week. We love hearing the answers. We love getting that insight from you guys, and we'll have another question for you guys, of course, on this episode. So we do appreciate you guys for that. In the meantime, we got some news to get into, man. We have a lot of Arc System Works related news because the Arc World Tour went down this weekend, or rather this Thursday to Saturday, right? Well, Wednesday was, I think, the LCQ. No, Wednesday was the preview show. So Thursday they had the LCQ. We had not just for Guilty Gear, but we also had it for Granblue.
Uni.
And Uni, thank you very much. Yes, for Uni as well. Did not watch Uni. I didn't either. I did not see Uni. It might have been just so early in the week that it kind of it just went under my radar. I'm definitely going back to check out what is the deal with Uni, especially with Uni 2. But I got to take a peek at Granblue, and I definitely got to check out mostly. I want to say it was mostly finals. For Guilty Gear, and of course the pre-show and everything else they did in the event. So let's break it down like that. Let's talk about some of the things that we liked about the show. Then we'll go into specifics like we'll do the results, and then we'll check out the announcements, right? Because everybody wants to talk about the announcements as well. So the show, man, this was it definitely was a good event, because even from watching it from a stream, I was like, I really, really mad that I just could not be there.
Yeah, I wanted to be there.
Like, it was one of those events where I was like, damn, I actually I missed out. And you can say that about any event. There's a lot of incredible events. But this one, I was like, yes, sure. I want to make it because I'm biased. I love Guilty Gear, sure. But that doesn't mean every event I want to go to. This one was one of those. It was the production for one was a killer for me. Like the camera work they did throughout the day. They really incorporated a lot of like the audience with it because there was mad cosplayers. There were a lot of artists. There was a lot of memes. And they were just letting the cameraman throw it around and just like have people flex. There was like a buff ass Sin in the crowd. I don't know if you saw that, like just flexing. And he had a Dizzy next to him, which was like funny too, like trying to flex as well. But they also look like, I don't know if you noticed, but like they had like different sections for different characters. I don't think they did that intentionally. I think the audience started doing that, right? Like, you see A.B.A and like, oh, cool. I'm wearing a fucking dolphin outfit. I should probably hang out with you over there. And the Johnny and stuff like that. And so it created like these moments where like players that were playing specific characters, whether it was Slash playing with May, or we had Johnny was up or anything like that. We got to show like fan support, right? People that were there to just cheer on their favorite character, cheer on maybe even their favorite player as well, right? But we got to see that through the event. So it was really fun to see that. So I was just enjoying that they took care to kind of like highlight the people that are really passionate about it, like just in between matches. And also, when downtime happens, it's cool. It keeps things going. I'd rather have camera shots on the people than have like a clock that has to count down until the match actually starts, right? Even if it is like a delay. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that was like one of my components that I enjoyed.
Oh, enjoyed. Remember Grand Finals? We were like, what's going on? There's buttons.
Oh yeah, exactly. Grand Finals had a delay. We were like, oh, someone's controller's messed up, but they were like, they did not cut away from like the show. They didn't put a pause on it. And 9 times out of 10, most productions are like, yo, just put it on a timer. Let's go. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, so many awesome people were out there dressed up, just showing mad passion, showing mad love, and then they were able to highlight them. I was like, that was a great feeling. And Twitch chat was like all about it too, so that was also fun.
I little behind the scenes. I mean, at least he's not. He doesn't make it. He's not a hidden or anything. But Tong, who was previously on our show, was also one of the production, or at least handled the production. So there you go. I mean, he's also in charge. What is he in charge of? Evo now? Evo production, I think, or was it Evo TO organizing?
I think it's the TO side. Okay, yeah, I think it's the TO side of things.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, production, that'd be kind of big, a big deal.
That's a lot.
Like, damn,
that is a lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just felt like because I watched quite a bit of at least GrandBlue. I actually loved the layout that they did, but I think the biggest thing just across the board was them doing the cameras for the way they did was kind of reminiscing of like League of Legends, like back in the day where they used to have to cast the casters on like they're on the desk right in front of the crowd where everybody in this low level where they could look back and say something, but they're also like you could see the players in the background. So I kind of like that shot for me was kind of like, oh man, it reminds me of like wanting to be on that stage, or if I was in that crowd, like I could get seen, right? I like the presentation overall. Do I think it was the best? No, because obviously we've had some more dynamic like stuff like Red Bull Kumite, like how we talked about before. But I think for Arc Revo for overall, I think this has been their best one where it doesn't feel, I don't know, it felt different. This one felt like it was bigger than what it should be, right? Like you're used to every other Arc Revo. I felt like this one was just huge. Like it meant something this time around, way more.
Yeah, I can get that feeling. It felt very important. There was a kind of like a chemistry in the air there. I mean, I don't know if it was between, like I said, the hype between GrandBlue with Uni and Guilty. You have like, different communities in there, just like all together, all under the Arc System Works banner. But, I think it was just honestly the event itself. It just had an aura about it. I mean, let's just go on to the next piece, which was like shit like the music section, right? The concert, the live concert was an incredible like moment there where they actually were just going through all these popular Guilty Gear songs and they were doing it live there. And some of the mix could have worked a little bit. Maybe their A1 or their A2 that they had to, kind of tweak a couple things. It got better as the show went along, but it was really cool. That was one of those moments where I was like, fuck, yeah, like I missed out. I would have loved to actually see a live show for the Guilty Gear music, some of the, some incredibly iconic music tracks, right? That just transcends not just the game. It's just like, that the fighting game scene just knows, like people know Guilty Gear for the music. So to have an actual live concert, I was like, that was awesome. We've done it in the past with other games, right? We've had Capcom do it before. I don't know why, if this was the first time I've seen like Guilty Gear really have an event like this that did it. I can't recall any. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think of any other Arc World Tour that really had like, especially this long of a set, because they were going through like damn near the whole discography of Strive for it.
Well, they went. I think there was about 6 or 7 songs because
there had to be more.
Aisha didn't do a lot of the female character songs that I know of. It was anyway. Doesn't matter. It was a pretty heavy set. However, I think they've had some stuff before, but it was never to this level.
Yeah, I don't think it was
even
to
the
this
Dragon Ball
extent.
thing. Was the Dragon Ball thing last year, or was that at the Dragon Ball Power Hour thing?
That was at the Power Hour. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Or
not
their
like
own
an
event.
Arc Sys
Yeah.
joint. Yeah,
Their own
correct.
Ball World Tour. Okay. So they probably got that idea and we're like, hey, we need a
Absolutely. I don't know why it took this long for them to do that. It's like, it makes sense. People love the music. Fuck it, run a concert on it. Why not? Especially when someone from your staff is up there, when you got Daisuke up there rocking with the damn guitar. Like, you might as well.
I think it's risky because we've seen Capcom do it.
Yes.
Sucked. I'm not going to hold any punches on that. It was trash, bro.
First of all, Capcom DJ, she was great. Everyone remembers Miss It's Cold in Here DJ. But then Dell was the funny one. I don't remember when Dell, the Funky Homo Sapien, did a live show because he's the one that did G's theme that has yet to still be released to this day. I'm still really angry at Capcom for that. He was drunk when he did that. Like, I don't know if he
really?
admitted it later. Yeah. That was a reason why that show was trash. My man was freaking sloshed.
You're not talking about the guy who headbutt the iPad, right?
No, that's a different guy.
No, that one was just as bad, but we can do a whole series on that. That's
it's kind of like movies. I don't know what it is. Live events and fighting games, like video game movies had historically like a bad times. Like fighting games and live music events like have not always been the greatest. Not like all other esports have a great time either. Looking at you, Overwatch and DJ Khaled, like damn well that's one on the books there. But this one was good. This one was dope. It was raw. It was a fun time. People were just all into it. The energy was there. So I really enjoyed it. So overall, the event, even if as a spectator, I was like, I would have enjoyed being there. Even if I did not play the game, the atmosphere looked incredible. It was great to see the passion and all the people that were there. So the event overall to watch was great. And it made me really want to be there. So I hope they kind of like continue it. And I mean, there's no reason, there's a good reason why it felt kind of special because there was a lot that went down. Especially, when it comes to things like announcements as well. But we're going to get into the results next, but we're going to do that after this ad break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and want to see who ended up being champ over at the Arc World Tour 2023. So don't go anywhere. All right. And we are back. So the Arc World Tour kicked off a week of competition for GrandBlue, for Uni 2, and of course for Guilty Gear. Stated earlier, I didn't get to check out Uni 2, but I did get to check out some GrandBlue. In the meantime, though, like only a couple of matches off the rip. So I'm not gonna go through everything because I haven't gone through all the top 8 in GrandBlue. I've only got to see a couple of matches, but of all characters to end up taking it, it was Lancelot, and that was Fukunaga that took it for this year. Lancelot, vanilla character, right? From the rip, dangerous when the game was its first iteration. Couple of years later, guess what? That character is still dangerous now. So not much has changed there. Great, good to know.
I deal with that guy. I can give you a little insight because I talked to a lot of the community.
Break it down.
They said that obviously the most played character is Nier. She is still top tier.
But there was only one, I think,
so
in top 8.
Don't let it fool you. The Zoe player
3
was also a Nier player.
Oh, okay.
So he was ahead in Nier. Like he played Nier all the way through the tournament and then got to grand finals.
And then
we got the winners. And finals, I believe it was like, I'm just playing Zoe.
yeah. Didn't play it then. I was like so surprised. I was actually excited to see Nier.
I think that was to avoid getting nerfed. getting Nier nerfed, which is probably still going to happen.
Well, I keep saying Nier. It's 2B. It's 2B. Correct before anyone flames us in the comments.
No.
It's 2B.
Wait, hold on. No. Correction. There is 2B, but there's an actual character named Nier.
Well, yes, yeah, I know that. 2B
saying,
is 2B is who we're talking about.
No, we're not.
Yes. Wait, what?
There's an actual character named Nier. Like she's called Nier.
You okay,
yes.
buddy?
They caught you slipping, player.
Yeah. Yo, I'm slipping.
Bro,
Right.
she's like the only one of the other characters that has like a persona.
Oh, caught him slipping.
All right, look. All right, yo,
it's not
hey,
a
yo,
persona.
whoa, relax. I just got off a
Right.
plane. Like, yo, let's not make this personal here, guys. Relax. Don't put my gamer card out there. All right, anyway, yes, 2B, that's all I'm thinking
No,
of.
I don't know
2B
why.
didn't get to show off as much as I wanted to, but what else went down in top 8?
Okay. So this is Nier.
Oh, that Nier.
That Nier.
Yes,
That Nier.
You guys are fucking confusing me with Nier Automata. That's why I'm like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
So Nier,
Right,
the
yes,
original
Nier.
GrandBlue
Yes,
character.
Her. She's Nier is busted. Nier is
Yes.
so fucking busted.
That
Holy
person,
hell is Nier
that
busted.
person actually
Yes.
plays this Nier, which is the GrandBlue version, and he did not play it in Grand Finals or Winners Finals. So that was kind of the thing. He played Zoe, and people were like, "What?"
Yes,
But the Lancelot player, 100%, is there's not many of them. There's very, very few, but everybody's aware that Lancelot is probably one of the most busted characters in the game. So him being in Grand Finals was kind of expected, and nobody has matchup experience enough against him to stop him. So that's why a lot of people were like, this was kind of expected for Lancelot to kind of steamroll here from once he got to top 8.
Is it that people don't have enough? Because remember, like I said, this is a vanilla character. He's been around since the game first dropped. But I know things changed, systems have changed and all that. But like, do you think it's because there've been so many new characters added that people kind of just like slept on them now? Oh yeah, like maybe not as many Lancelot players are out there, and that's why we was able to slip through the crack.
Well, do you want to answer again?
Sure. I watch a lot of Chris G stream, and when he plays this game, he's picking he actually has picked random and has done all right, but I never see him play a Lancelot. And I don't know if it's like that sort of, I hate how people see me if I pick a character. Because Lancelot, for me, when I started playing the game, Lancelot was one of the characters. It's like, or I don't want to fight him as much. But like, are people scared of the way that? Because look, none of the ones in top 8 have him, and he's also not. Maybe a little bit harder to learn. Because I remember MJ was picking him up too, right?
I remember MJ playing up early on. I don't know if he's harder to learn, but
he's not.
Right.
He's just
I
playing,
thought so.
So they have a rule of thumb. They're like, if you're playing Lancelot, it's probably because you were playing 6 or Seox, however you want to call his name. They're like, but 6 was kind of like taking the limelight over Lancelot. So what essentially happened was most Lancelot players just stayed in the shadows. And when you have a majority of characters being played as the meta, it's hard to stop. It's hard to get the showing that you want to see who's really as strong. But most people knew that Lancelot was overly tuned, and it was just like, who's going to show up and just do it, right? So this was kind of the tournament to see that happen. And of course,
hell of a tournament to do it at.
Oh yeah,
hell of a tournament to do it at, of all places, at the actual World Finals.
Quickly, shout out to this is my first time seeing the list. Shout out to Gobo. He's one of my favorite players to watch, and picking
Gobo with La Diva. La Diva through and through, big body.
Coming from picking Gold Lewis and Strive, unfortunately didn't make top 8. He lost in the round robins. Using Asuka.
Yeah. He abandoned the meme dream,
and
which
Zato.
is fine. I think
apparently Zato's bad now.
Yeah, Zato's hasn't been a character for like a patch and a half. Zato's been bad. Yeah, Zato does not exist. That's why cats like
Leffen left him.
Like Leffen, Latif, like clearly is not playing him, right? Like, and he was a diehard for that character. So we'll see if the maybe the additional move and all and whatever the patch comes up is gonna change things around. That's what people were like flashing in the crowd for a lot. But GrandBlue wrapped up. We've got our champ. We did get
from Japan.
Yeah, we get. Yes, from Japan.
Keep in mind, that was a Japan versus US, and US has very little experience against Lancelot outside of maybe Tega or someone like that. Where I think there's one other.
Yeah, I can't think of many Lancelot players outside of Tega in the US. Really, I think he is probably the go-to. At least the baseline when it comes to like really good Lancelot players is him. Shout outs to the East Coast. But yeah, so we had GrandBlue finals go through, and then we jumped into the finals day for Guilty Gear. So I got to watch some of the pool play. Not to say I wasn't interested. I mean, I was interested, but at the same time, I just like I did not have the ability to check it out like live. So I was really focused on making sure we were going to watch finals. Which luckily me and Static got to watch a good component of it before the night ended.
Yeah, I did see some of Umisho and Daru Ino. Man, how did they decide, by the way, the rounds? I
don't know. I think everyone's blaming Ringe again for like picking things randomly, like how he did in Capcom Cup. I think that's like the.
Because I'm like, damn, Daru Ino and Umisho in the same one, rough.
Yeah, that was.
There was a moment where so for me, watching some of this was a showcase for how much I already complained about it, but how much more I dislike Wild Assault. So,
which didn't get shown until like the middle of like top 8.
No, trust me. Umisho did this setup with Soul where she did some sort of string into Wild Assault into fake Gunblade. Into Wild Throw. I lost my crap and I just like instantly like turned it off and went back to playing Marvel because I was like, dog, I got hit. Like at first I was like, man, look at this scrubbing move. And then you just like as the night went on, the laptop. Yeah, as the night went on, I'm like, that was really good. but I just really don't like that.
It's one of those things where you're just like, man, I can't believe you got hit by that, and you're just like that night you're just laying in bed, eyes open, you're staring at the roof, and you just have to whisper it to yourself. You're like, I got hit.
That was really smart. Yeah,
you have to admit it to yourself, like I got hit by that.
Yeah. I really got hit by empty jump, whatever. But no, shout out to Umisho, still getting at least 5th overall.
Yeah,
switching to Soul,
sticking
Since with
that post Evo. Remember once they won Evo, or she won Evo, and everyone's like, "Yo, Happy Chaos was your crutch." It's like, okay, bet. Yeah. Went with Soul, has done very, very well with Soul, and has not like dropped Soul like that. Like maybe you might see an occasional switch up, but like main runs are always with Soul. It's like I'm gonna go with literally the Ryu, the basic guy at a game, right? The go to, and we'll see if I'm really not the I'm not the champ that I am, right? Like all respect, nothing but respect.
Consistent top 8 since Combo Breaker 22, I think. Yeah, Combo Breaker 2022 so. Consistently there, and Tempest as well. So. Shout outs.
But so top 8, there was a bunch of incredible matches. I have a couple notes on just some of them, and then some notes on top of that in terms of the characters. I mean, Slash versus Tempest and YC was just a body bag by Tempest. I mean, Leo versus May, but Slash, right, the quintessential May, right, Latif's training partner, has been making a name for himself since I want to say the earliest I heard was during Evo, because that's when like Latif was making his big like Guilty Gear run, and it's like, yo, who are you training with? And Slash was, who they trained with, and Slash's May was just like on another level. Then to then be consistent and still be a problem even now is just like, is wild. No pun intended. Adding things like Wild Assault to it, like we were just talking earlier, like we were seeing some insane conversions that Wild Assault's been able to give to certain characters to kind of bump their lethality, like in many different areas of the screen that was not possible before. Fuck that beach ball. That shit should be disappear when you hit her. That was like those crazy clutch matches. That match, that entire set, even though it was still 2 Tempest, who was just like an insane Leo, was still like incredibly competitive. Even if the score says otherwise, it was still like an incredible watch.
I think 2 things that stood out to me. I actually didn't even want to look at the top side of the bracket. It was the bottom side of the bracket that was really interesting, which was starting with Aaron the Mac. He actually won the LCQ and went all the way through,
winner,
which was pretty interesting considering him playing Happy Chaos. He was the only one technically that made it through. Where you probably expected a little bit more. God,
He was playing. I think he also he second Leo as well. So I think he swapped in between. But I think Happy Chaos was like the main. But he had a pocket Leo for some matchups. With Slash as well.
Because he
Slash getting knocked out.
That's how he tried to beat Slash was with Leo, that was a great match. Even though it was 3-0, it was still, you saw some strong highlights from there. I think the person I wanted to win overall, outside of Tempest, because I felt like he worked really hard for it. I really, really, and obviously America, but the person I was watching the whole time was Zando. Zando, the only Asuka, the only person almost 3-0ing people. Yeah,
was Zando the only Asuka?
Yep.
No. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're right. The only Asuka. I saw multiple Asuka. Yes, Zando's Asuka. Thank you for bringing that up. Because I was going to highlight Zando because for one, Zando's an incredible player with that character. But let me tell you right now, Asuka is the most Guilty Gear character Guilty Gear has ever geared guiltily. Like facts, bro. That character is so fucking dumb, but you still have to like know your shit with that character in order to be effective. Like my man is looking at literally like he's looking at 4 bar. He's looking at his mana bar. He's looking at his burst bar. He's looking at his health bar. He's looking at his tension bar. Then he's looking at 4. Let's add another 4 to that. This is 8 really. What is it? His actual spells that he gets that he has to be able to be aware of in order to be effective. On top of then. Now the fundamentals of the game, like bro, you have to really like APM like crazy.
He is doing advanced calculus while everybody else is doing subtraction and addition.
I'm
like
I'm barely in multiplication. My man is doing trigonometry. He is doing if ands, but finding X. I don't know why your X keeps leaving you. Maybe things weren't working out in your relationship.
And then I don't
fucking know
the equation. Like what the hell?
And then he gets it at the end of the day. His Asuka was disgusting. I was like, I literally my notes. I changed a sentence in my note like 3 times. Went from like. Asuka might be I said Asuka is the best character in the game. I was like, Asuka is one of the best characters in the game. I was like, Asuka is the guiltiest character in this fucking game. Like, holy shit.
Did you ever look at his buffs or his changes from the previous patch or no? I didn't get to look at them because there's so much.
Yeah, I have not, unfortunately, because of my lull with Guilty has kind of now made a bit of a gap in my knowledge in some of the characters towards Asuka and Elfelt specifically. Like Johnny, not as much, but like Asuka and Elfelt have like slipped under my radar where I have to like kind of not sit down to kind of reacquaint myself.
I'd probably have to do a deep dive because I haven't picked them since the new patch.
You played them.
I was playing them. I just wanted to, every new character I sort of get used to just to see what they're about. Like you and I played it in person. I picked Johnny a little bit. So like, I do want to do like a little deep dive on how to do that. Maybe sometime this week on stream or something. And when I'm looking up A.B.A. Speaking of A.B.A, we'll get to that by the way. But
we'll get to A.B.A.
Yeah, so go ahead, keep going with the results because oh my god.
A.B.A. The Slash versus Zando. Like let's just keep it going there. Actually before let's pull it back a little bit. Varix versus Tempest. That was incredible.
Oh yeah.
That was a 3-2. That got to the fucking wire. Like some of that stuff like was just they had plans, but I guarantee you some of those plans were like, yo, I'm gonna do this and like either I win or I die. Yeah. That's literally it. That's like the only options that were there. They were very hyped. So Nago versus Leo, nothing that we haven't seen before, right? It's always a slugfest because Nago has crazy range that Leo can't deal with. But now with things like Wild Assault and just some of the changes with Leo as well with like his flash kick, right? Like on knockdowns and his Oki, it switched the game up a bit, the matchup a little bit. But throw in the amount of experience Tempest has playing against the character, and just the weirdness that is Guilty Gear, right? Just the RC system and the stuff you can do that Varix was taking advantage of. What was it like the teleport back BRC or something to command grab? He did some like, nutty stuff that worked.
He did like a 2K into teleport BRC'd it. I think he did that so he can get enough blood gauge to do an extended medium or a slash because the slash gets longer. And because he BRC'd it, if the person's jumping or doing something, whatever they're doing far screen, they're gonna hit it. And he can go right into Beyblade after that and get his blood gauge down. His blood gauge management was so perfect. Like he knew exactly where it wasn't gonna go, so it wouldn't blow up and take his health.
He only
away.
popped once, I think.
Really?
I think I only saw one Nago pop once. It had to have been Varys. He was the only one.
Yeah.
He popped one time, and it was actually against Umisho. Very first match or second match, something like that. And Umisho like literally only got a 60%. It's so right. You're already gonna blow up, right? But then, yeah, and you're done. That was the only time we saw Varys actually slip up and pop the pimple right out. So.
Thanks.
Past that, like he was, just super managing the meter. And it got really close. If you didn't check out that set, even though, we know like Varys does take it, it's still an incredible watch. I suggest anyone to go check that out, especially if you play either of those characters.
So I did want to state the one thing that most people didn't know or probably didn't remember is we saw Varys a while back, actually. This is how I knew who he was right as I saw he was in top 8. I was like, oh man, this is a major threat. He played against Nubenheimer, losers quarterfinals at Evo. So in top 8.
It was the Nago mirror, right?
Yes, it was the Nago mirror.
Okay.
And I think he just didn't understand that because we said if he did, he would have probably ran through the rest of the bracket. But I think he took a lot from what Nubenheimer was doing and also added on to new things with his own stuff. And you could see how consistent he was. I thought he was, to me, overall, probably hands down, he was the reason why he won. He's the best player there, and you could see through all the interactions he had. I think, like I said, and I think Tempest was a second. No different. Could have went either way, but he was very impressive, beating Umisho pretty convincing. I would say that pretty partially. Sadly, I got to say that, but it is exactly what it was. He beat.
Especially in that matchup, Soul versus Nago is just a blow up match. Like whoever is going to get the hit, like you're just deleting the health bar. It goes either way, so it's very, very explosive. But he actually ended up winning because of the flex shield in that match. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. It should be on the last match, last mix up, last hit. The flex shield came in clutch for Varys. We had one more match before grand finals. Of course, that was Slash versus Zando. We were just praising these two guys. Zando was just looking strong, 2-0. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. Like Slash just turned it around. Like as much as I give props for Asuka, like if Asuka gets cornered and doesn't have resources, like the character does melt. Like it does melt. Even though Zando does everything possible to prevent that from happening. Yeah, once that mana bar is gone and you have that defense debuff and it's a May,
you need to
you're done.
You need to manage it, but again, it's the gods of RNG. If they're on your side, if you're going to get the you have to also change decks in order to get the plus up card. And you have to be careful. I mean, you can also, there's like the medium deck, which is just like manipulating certain cards, and the heavy deck, which is the one that throws out all of the junk. So it's so much, there's so much management,
all the Rubik's cubes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hurts. But
so Slash ended up taking that with a 3-2, like a reverse 3-0. Just incredible set. Like, I've said it all along, but the top 8 was just stacked, leading us, of course, to grand finals between Varys on the winner side and Slash on the loser side. Nago versus May, once again, slugfest, mix-up city. It ended up at a 3-2, almost a reset. It was really close, but Varys ends up taking it, becoming the Arc World Tour 2023 champion for Guilty Gear Strive. Wild Assault is incredible. I know that we were watching it live, Gabe, and you were like pointing out like, well, look, ready, like any button here, Wild Assault buffer. Like, it really is like the drive rush of this game. Like you could just throw a button out, and if you think it hits, block or not, like block or hit, like Wild Assault buffering is legit because you're either plus or you get the hit and then you just convert, right?
You can even jump cancel it, like,
and you can jump cancel it. Yes, it's an insane mechanic. I feel like we saw more of it as the match continued, but it is still very risky, right? Because you use it, you're giving up burst, right? You're giving up your only defensive option in terms of like while getting comboed. But then on the other side is like, is it really a hard risk? Is the reward is insane. Either plus, either convert. You take away their burst too, right? Like if you do get a conversion, you're taking that bit of burst from your enemy. So now you can get guaranteed damage, right? Like, is it something we're gonna look at later? I don't know. It was at that level, but it was definitely a component for sure. Which, you know what, I'm down for it because they introduced this component. And I thought like if they introduce mechanics like this, like later on in the game's life, you'd hope it gets adapted into the meta. Because if it's a dud, people are gonna be like, this worthless worthless mechanic. No one uses it. Why did they spend time developing this, right? Like versus like, look at that. It was a key component. Reflex shield, key component. And Wild Assault, definitely a component.
And in the recent patch, they did change certain characters that had certain Wild Assaults, like the orange, the blue, and the white, inflicting different like outcomes. But it's still, even the hard knockdown in the corner off of the wall splat is another just like.
Yeah,
it does.
You don't got
so
the meter.
Much.
I still want the hard knockdown. I want the mix.
It does too much. And granted, I think there are characters that do need certain tools that are a little, certain characters need different tools for their kit. But God damn, sorry.
Okay, all right. That's something. Anyway, it's something we're gonna. I think we'll definitely sit down and talk about. It's a discussion there to be had, which is great because you know what, when a world tour like this concludes, when a champion is crowned, which once again, shout outs to Varix for taking that. It's a snapshot. It's also a snapshot of like the meta. It's a snapshot of the competitive state of it. It's a snapshot to kind of have these discussions and look at the state of the game as to seeing like, okay, what worked and what doesn't work, right? So I think we'll be in a good spot. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to discuss that down the line. Not in today's episode. It's probably going to be in the following episode. Hopefully, John doesn't look at me weird now. But yeah. So we got our results. We got Varix taking a dub. Fukunaga taking, of course, for GrandBlue. Who got Uni? Actually, I want to give the proper flowers to whoever ended up winning Uni as well. I don't know if we have that on deck. Anyone here have it?
I do not, but I could probably have it for you in a second.
Okay, well, you know what? We're going to find out who it was that took the crown there for Uni. We're going to do that when we return from this break, because we still have to talk about, of course, all the announcements, all the goodies, all the things to look forward to from all things ArcSys. So don't go anywhere. If you want to stay tuned and hear about that, be right here. All right, and we're back. Arc World Tour results are in the books. Shout outs to Varix for taking Strive. Shout outs, of course, to Fukunaga for taking Rising, GrandBlue, Fantasy versus Rising. God, that title is still incredibly long. But we still, regardless if it was a side tournament or not, for Uni 2, shout outs to Knots for actually taking that with Seth. Kind of an insane character. I have dabbled many times in Uni, and a lot of the characters are insane, but that character, once I learned what he did, is nuts. Not nuts. He's just nuts. But Knots took it, got the dub for that. So shout outs to him. And we'll see, how that kind of, the snapshot from that game also goes on and changes up after this concludes. So with that, hey man, we had a live event, we had music, we had cosplayers, we got great competition. But what is a fighting game tournament without announcements?
Oh boy.
Luckily, we didn't have to go really any farther into the event to get our first announcement. So let's just go chronologically how we got them. So we'll go off with the big piece, right? With A.B.A, aka A.B.A. She got announced. She got officially announced with her new hairstyle and all, very Morgan-like. First impressions, that's what I thought of. I was like, what's with the hairstyle? That's different. Yeah. I remember the red hair, but besides that, that's the only thing that really stuck out to me. The other part that I enjoyed is that she is still a weirdo character. Yes. Like Guilty Gear, as much as we love the music, there's another thing about it. It's the weirdo character design. Whether you're Zappa, your A.B.As, give me some other weirdo characters besides
Zappa. A.B.A, Testament back in the day.
Technically, yeah. It is weirder.
Dr.
Faust,
Baldhead.
Yeah. Okay. So weirdo characters, right? I love it. Especially those older designs, those older animations. So I was like, man, I really hope we get to see that with her. And you know what? First impressions, I like it. Facial expressions, the way she moves, how chaotic she is. It's all there. I was really happy to see that they kind of kept the essence of her in that. What about you guys? How do you feel about the new look?
Go ahead, Meza.
Well, I personally feel that she still embodies the character that she is. A lot faster, in my personal opinion, but I just like the redesign. That's something big that ArcSys is really like taking upon themselves, is not making the character too similar to what they were, but trying to change something. And I think
evolving.
between her hairstyle and her outfit, and also looks like she's even more exhausted than she was before.
Oh, bro, I was gonna say those bags are serious. That luggage, bro. That's TSA's like, yo, ma'am, you're gonna have to come. We have to check those out. Those are some big ass bags she got. She ain't have no sleep.
Yeah, I really love that they went this route with her design. It almost makes me, because I used to play her for a bit, until I realized like she's really difficult to play. But I do hope that the entry barrier for her this time around is a little bit easier, and it does seem a little bit easier. And like I said, I'm just all for redesigning characters to make that are original characters that were made years ago. You can't keep rinse repeating what we've already done, except for certain main characters like Soul. Obviously, they've given him a few new things, Kai. But you always try to improve the character.
You gotta have a fireball. You gotta do this, but tweak it a little bit, right? Give it a little bit of a sauce in there. Get some seasoning. The characters evolve. The characters age. They should also, it'd be cool if you could evolve how they play as well, right?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing is you have all these newer characters that are coming out, or characters that have been around for a long time getting redesigned. You can't stay in the original state. Like if Slayer comes out down the road, I don't want him to be the same exactly. I still want him to have Power Bunker, but have some new options out of it. Have some new things, right? So that's what we're looking at. Where A.B.A has some not only new artwork and new style, she kind of does things a little bit differently. So I want to see where they explored with that and see how far they'll go with it.
I know you don't want Force Break Mappa Punch.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
First of all,
challenge me.
So yeah, it's good to bring characters like that back, but they still need to have that essence of what made them fun to play, right? Why people like enjoyed playing them, whether it's the design or whether it's actually we're talking more specifically the gameplay mechanics. I think no one else more than Static here will have a good feel on that, because he is a diehard plus R player, or just old school Guilty Gear player. So give us your 411 on your thoughts on A.B.A, and I think you also got a chance to check out the starter guide for her. Give us the TLDR on that, because I haven't checked it out yet. I'm waiting for the character to drop. But what do you know? What's the skinny?
My best TLDR. What I liked about her, previously in the previous game, I knew she was in Isuka, but I'd never played Isuka at that time. So then I got Guilty Gear Plus R for PlayStation 2 and messed around with her in there. And I didn't like the 3 bag situation. Like, she has a meter now. I like the meter now because it's dependent throughout the match. And you're not really, even if you run out of it, you're not going to fall into some sort of there's no, how do I say? She has two modes, and it's not like you're going to be you're not going to be in a detriment for being out of the one zone. For instance, Temple Nut would play me a lot with A.B.A, and whenever he was out of the blood bags, or even in a different mode where he would have a whole 60 seconds. He would have a whole second of lag whenever he would transform back when his mode was over, and that was when she would just be opened up. So I don't see that, at least in this game, from the starter guide. So she doesn't seem as if she has a glaring weakness.
That just to put some premise on that, for those that haven't played older Guilty Gears, this character was a character that really fed on, how he's saying, these blood packs. She got 3 per match every round, it would reset. And once you did those 3, when she used one, she basically became a super version of her character. Her moves changed, her attributes changed, and you would say she's better in this mode, but there's a big risk because it's only after a certain amount of time, and you have to get out of it, or you have this insane, literally 60-second cooldown that you are stuck. You can't do anything. You can't do bursts. Most of the time you would see her get insta finish, the insta kill would happen there.
I think 60 frames, you mean?
Yeah, so 1 second, 60 frames. So did I say 60 seconds?
60 seconds. Oh, damn,
bad.
A whole
60
minute.
frames, 60 frames, 1 second. My bad. 60 frames, one second.
The key.
Yeah, you just drop your hands, you turn around, you're like, yo, what happened? So they've changed that where now it's a bar. So to help counteract that, because that made it a character where it's that's a difficult character to already have to, to balance, or rather to try to balance in terms of a player to actually know what you can and can't do. So that's not something an entry player is going to want to do. Someone that's going to try to mess with her, that's going to seem very overbearing. So it looks like they're trying to counteract that with the bar similar to Nago.
Right. And you'd have to sort of strategize how you're going to fight every single character but in a certain pattern. Like, do I combo into the key, which she didn't have to use a blood pack before, and she doesn't have to now. She can just do the the
command grab or whatever, or the hit grab.
It's an end of a like an end of your string, and she would put the key into you, turn into that, but now in this game, she still gets the speed buff. She gets everything. She gets even enhanced certain parts of the moves, sort of like the old game. But there are even certain moves which I think is going to be very cheap. Is this overhead she has, where it's just you can barely see it. Like, you will have to keep blocking high. Like, there is ridiculous stuff. And then also one of her DP moves has armor on it. And then she also has a shield move, which I believe is in normal mode, which she can sort of nullify the next couple frames. Like, she's invul after the shield. And then even worse is like she has a sidestep. She has like a Captain America. I hate that character. She has a Captain America sort of sidestep around, sort of like remember how Felicia and Captain America in Marvel 3 have like a sort of like a command normal or dash that goes through things. She has something like that can go through. So she has very long buttons. There's a heavy slash that's sort of like a long key button. She can swing that key, which is apparently her lover or husband or
it's her husband. Great. He doesn't know it, but she they're married, or she has an obsession with keys. Listen, when I say weirdo characters, I'm not trying to I'm not overselling it. Like, read the lore, read the bio. The girl's mental, but the key's also kind of trippy, but she has incredible the supers though look amazing. Like, her presentation is just like I was like, yes, this is a pass.
I just want to say one thing real quick, was she no longer has the RAM, which is a little saddening. It's like some weird
it's now like a jealousy mode or something like that is what it's called.
It just reminds me of Zato's like Eddie, like where he has like
maybe there's a connection
there. Power there. I don't know, but her key is just different now, which is cool.
No, I like it. The whole presentation is dope, especially like the buffs you get towards the supers as well. Every move has a buff in that mode, which is something I like too. Because first I was watching people watching, they're like, oh, it's just a super, and then it's buffed, and it's like, oh my god, it's more of a super. It's like, and then you can combo after it, and the tentacles coming out of the floor to dude, it's insane. I'm gonna be liking the character. I liked her in the last one, but again, felt a little too exposed or just what's that word? Felt too
vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, if you guys didn't notice the little animations, the key's eyes when they're not transformed, when she does not activate it into the like googly eye one, it actually looks at you constantly unless she swings it and hits you. It's very specific animations.
Does it look at the opponent when it transforms? That'd be weird.
I did not see it look at the opponent when transforming, but when she's hitting you, when she's not hitting you with it, it looks at her. During certain animations when she's moving towards you, it will look at you. Oh, so yes, it does look at you when she stabs you.
So if you thought that like Chip was a problem with his Rekkas, she's also a Rekka character. So enjoy that. And the Rekka's safe. So
that's what I thought. When I saw her, I was like, oh shit, it's A.B.A. She looks great. Like 2 seconds later, I was like, oh shit, it's A.B.A. Fucking great. Like, oh no, like the plus R days started coming back. I instantly had the message template out like, yo man, welcome back to the game. I want to be the first one to tell you you're back. It's awesome. Can't wait to play you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he instantly went on stream, so I was really stoked. But yeah, it was just that she was at the top of the leaderboards as well. She was in the top 3, top 4 consistently when they were doing the backyards. Like, hey, voting. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to see?
I believe all 4 of these characters. I'm sorry, all 3 of these characters.
Hint, all 3, nudge, or rather, nudge. We're gonna hint, nudge, nudge. We'll talk about the 4th one. Actually, in a second.
Correction. Yes, she did. When she's blocking, the key looks at the opponent. When she starts attacking, the key looks directly down at her. If she stabs you with the key will look directly towards what it's stabbing, aka the opponent. If it's stabbing into.
Oh, yeah, that weird stuff. So, so she is set to release today. By the way, is being recorded on the 25th of March. Tomorrow. So we're gonna have a full like the character guides out. You can kind of get a good feel for what the kit is, the directions, the attributes. But she'll be out tomorrow. So it's gonna be plagued. If you're going to ranked, It's literally the Simpson meme. It's just gonna be you as Homer in the bar. If whatever your character, everybody else is gonna be A.B.A.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes.
I have to be honest though. I don't know where the popularity came from. Maybe because nobody wanted to play her in Slash or in Accent Core. I don't know.
It's
She's
you know
only
what,
been
that's
in
a
one
damn
game.
good.
Well, 2 games.
That's a damn good question because she was not in Exerd, right? So it's like you had to have known her from Plus R. But then again, it's Guilty Gear. You can go down this fucking rabbit hole and see a bunch of characters that aren't in, right? We were seeing Justice getting put out into the crowd when they were putting the cameras on some people. Yeah. And the best part about that is motherfuckers were like, boo! We're like, no, we do not. We do not want this character.
I think enough people have seen Plus R to be like, I think they just want to give A.B.A. a second try, maybe because she was bad in the previous games.
I want to see more specifically. I'm just calling out this player because I've seen him in tournaments that we've ran in the past. Skeletal Minion, who is like the A.B.A. that's still rocking out in Plus R.
That's dope.
I want to see them jump into this game and actually play A.B.A. and get their thoughts on it. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So with there actually also comes a new stage as well. Once again, this is happening on the 26th. The new stage, the Fallen Prayer Engulfed Lives. That's the name of it. Cool. Her track is dope. I think I'm gonna give it a more of a listen later though to kind of give it my final thoughts, but also talk to Static about that. It's Guilty Gear. You kind of tier list the songs without really knowing it because
you talking about her old song?
No, her current song.
Oh, sorry.
We'll talk. No input.
None. I know what you're talking about.
No input. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when she releases. We actually get our hands on it.
Amen.
All right. So announcements are continuing on, man. That was just the first one, but that was kind of the more hefty one. So once grand finals finished up, we got Daisuke was up there and like motherfuckers just egging you on, like, hey, we're here. And they were just very straightforward. They're like, we're gonna walk off stage. And I was just like, you motherfuckers, don't you do this. I think I did that during your stream, Static. Yeah. And then they were like, but we're gonna play this video. And I was like, thank you. And it was a quick one. I think it was only like 7 seconds, 10 seconds at most, but it was, technically it was more because it showed 2 different components. It showed 2 different components to it. So the first part was the really quick one, which was, was it the announcement of the...
They announced the season, they showed every character of the seasons. So they showed season 1, 2, 3, and 4, 3. And then they said season 4 is coming.
The 4th.
But
yes. Yeah. So season 4 is coming. So let's go with that one off the rep. Season 4 is coming. So there is ongoing support for the game, which is awesome. We weren't sure if season 3 was going to be the last of it. It didn't seem like it was, but we hadn't heard anything for a while. So they kept it pretty under wraps. So I was really happy to see a season 4. I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing. They're just going to continue. And if anything like season 3, considering, hey, they're still adding moves, right? We talked Amelia new move that's getting added. If they're going to start applying this to more characters, it's going to be a bit for them to do that. So if they're going to want to bundle that up throughout maybe a season, an actual season pack, a battle pass like lifetime, then cool. So season 4 got announced. And then afterwards, you got the short little teaser, the very, very, very light teaser there where we got to see some black figures in the night and it was all red and it's like really hard to see, and then, but if you knew, it's like you saw that was a bat and then you saw somebody's hair and you're like, holy shit,
popped collar,
fucking pop the poppiest of collars, bro, like insane levels of swag with the collar almost to his head. Slayer, we got Slayer, or as far as we know, it's Slayer.
Yeah, it could be Sharon.
It could be Sharon for all we know, and now Slayer's the background character. We don't fucking know.
But at least it looks to be like that they are confirming it from those lists that people did request.
Yes, because Slayer was also up there in the top wanted characters that they've been voting on over the lifetime of their developer backyard. So Slayer being added is awesome. But one note about that, which I found very, I kind of put this together. I was like, we got, in this patch, we ended up with what? Johnny, Elfelt, fucking A.B.A., and if it's Slayer, which I'm under a good assumption it's Slayer.
Yeah.
That's an entire battle pass of returning characters.
Right.
Yes.
No other battle pass has been like that. All other battle passes have been a mix. Mm-hmm. And they try to keep it even. So what I'm tripping out about is that, well, if season 3, they're going with just original characters, are they going to try to do some wild shit and be like, yo, season 4?
All original.
It's all original.
That would be interesting. We haven't seen a fighting game do that in a long time.
I'm like, I can't think of a game that has just done that. A fighting game that has just given you nothing but new characters entire week, like nothing returning. I don't want to say that with like GrandBlue. Like GrandBlue, those are a lot of characters that people know of, and it's like, it's the first time doing a fighting game, so I don't count that because any character in DLC is a new character because it's the first version. But like I'm talking like like Street Fighter, a Tekken, MK, like there hasn't been like a pack that is just new characters. This is just me speculating. I'm thinking like if they do that, that'd be kind of dope because it helps keeps that balancing of like new and old, but. I don't know also how the crowd would take that. Like, would Guilty Gear fans like nothing but new characters? I mean, not like it matters because they're getting nothing but original characters or returning characters in season 3.
I would think so. I would think they would enjoy it because of the lore. There's so much lore and characters that were in different games, like Overture, that people might want to see. People want to see for some reason the dude Gabriel or the captain dude in charge of
or Valentine.
Yeah.
Valentine, original Valentine. That was in the beat 'em up game.
Okay. I'll just say quickly, I do believe that yes, it could help, but it could also hurt. Depends on how the audience perceives it. If it has nothing to do with the story, it might be good. If it has something to do with the story, like I don't know, someone's son or any of that sort, could be a little homage thing to the character, which would be nice to cover their tracks. But realistically, doing an all original cast, unless it's maybe like 3 characters, I think that's safer than 4 original characters that come out of nowhere, because if people have to find connection to them. And I feel like with fighting game players, that's kind of the nostalgic thing. I mean, I definitely don't think we should always stick that way, but you have to look at it from a sales point. They're not going to get their money's worth if it's just new characters, right? So unless they can pitch it to forcefully look like that, maybe
it's a gamble. I get it. It's a gamble to do something
it
like
that. It might be a gamble worth taking right now due to the fact that we saw Street Fighter kind of do that with introducing a new character as the new main character of 6, right? So it's worth it because you could develop a new story for Guilty Gear and do Guilty Gear Strive 2, right? Now you're talking about a whole brand new game with new cast members. We can flesh out a lot of the old, use the old as new reliable DLCs that people want to come back. Maybe Soul Bad Guy and Kai isn't the main 2 anymore, and now you can use Sin and someone else. And now guess what? Those 2 are DLCs, and people are like, "Holy shit, we can't wait to see Soul." Maybe you get Order Soul this time, a return, stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
no, that's a damn good point for sure. And also technically, if you look at the story right now of Guilty Gear, Soul does not have his powers anymore. So technically, the mantle is supposed to maybe get pushed on to someone else. It might actually be Sin's turn. Who knows?
I want to harken back to Shin Kenso on our one of our episodes where we interviewed him. He said he wanted to see young Cliff, and I was on board with that.
Still 100% agree with that.
Still on board
young Cliff
with it.
Would be dope.
If anything, bringing back a character in a different light would be kind of cool.
Maybe like a prototype Justice or something like that.
And
not
part
huge
of me,
mech Justice,
right? But part of me just wants to hear their songs again and fight.
Yeah, we know your bias. We know your bias. Yeah, but hey, so with those announcements. Oh, so actually, no, there was one more. Sorry, I don't want to take it away. Vane. We had a gameplay trailer for Vane. This is for GrandBlue. So Vane was one of the 2 DLC characters that have been announced, that were announced prior to the Arc World Tour. So we already knew these characters were coming along. Vane did get shown off during Grand Finals. And I mean, character with a big old lance, lots of reach. And I mean, like,
his Aegis Reflector.
Nice. There we go. Aegis fucking Reflector. Holy shit. GrandBlue players are about to just not have a lot. You know what? If you thought Lancelot was already going to be a pain with his slow ass projectile, that basically is kind of a Aegis Reflector, kind of, but it's more like a slow sonic boom than anything else. This, add that a projectile that now reflects back shit.
Well, it just, for what we know, it only deflects a projectile, and then it allows. So there's the
then there's like the bouncing. There's like a bouncing setup as well.
Yeah, there's a regular one, which I think is, if I remember the color, is gold, which is just for what we saw was projectiles. We didn't see people physically run into it. The blue one was a physical, so that might be return projectiles as well as also affect people with juggle states and whatnot. So and he also has armor, so that's pretty damn scary.
Yeah,
I don't know how much more scary.
I thought my man was gonna be bland as it could be. Turns out he might have some sauce, dog. Like that's rough, and it's a bad time because you know what? After all of this, after watching Arc World Tour, I was like, yo, GrandBlue's kind of fun. You know what? I would play 2B. I'm talking 2B, not fucking Nier, right? Sorry, I was confused earlier. You know what? I would play 2B. And I was like, yo, after watching Guilty Gear, I'm like, yo, I want to play some Guilty Gear. But then after seeing Vane, I'm like, I don't know about that one. And then I was like, A.B.A was like, ooh, do I want to do that right now?
He has some sauce from what we saw. Like he's doing like jump combos. Like
he's got range, and if this damage is anywhere close to what I'm expecting it to be, like he's gonna be a problem. And that Aegis Reflector is just like, oh god. Trap characters, stuff like that, like where they can like be neutral and have something that affects you still, are just so fucking dangerous.
Sorry, correction. It's gold is for physical. Blue nullifies
projectiles.
Yeah, but also allows juggle states.
Yeah. I thought so. I was like, I know I saw juggle state somewhere. I had to have seen it because I was like, oh, at first it seemed normal. Then I saw it. I was like, I saw that bounce. I was like, yeah, that's you can keep all that.
Well, I mean, remember he only did the regular version. If that is considered the regular version, then he can
what if the EX Sun does everything?
EX might be gold. That might be the gold one. It might also. Yeah, I mean, we won't know until he's supposedly available now. So,
no, I thought he's coming out in April 2nd.
Double check because
I believe
sure they said.
I think GrandBlue does some early access. No,
okay. I would
sometimes they do. Yeah,
maybe if you bought the battle pass already, you might get the character a week ahead. But I'm like pretty sure April 2nd is his official like full on release.
April 2nd.
Cool. Thought so. Yeah, so it'll be time for right in time for next week's show when we get released. All right, Arc World Tour has concluded, but there's actually a quick question I want to bring up to you guys. So this actually was brought up from Meza. This seems to be an announcement that kind of slipped under. It might have been just during the GrandBlue stuff. But moving forward, it's been announced officially that GrandBlue is actually now going to be separated from the Arc World Tour. It's going to have its own circuit to actually basically just be completely GrandBlue centric. It's not being tied together with Guilty Gear. So Arc World Tour, as far as I could tell right now, is just, it's supporting side tournaments, I guess, for other IPs, and then I guess keeping Guilty Gear as its main game. But that's like interesting because I always thought like I think it's always beneficial when you're trying to keep it all together as one, because you could kind of make a culmination of all your IPs, all your fans, all your communities that all kind of share a lot of, chances are they probably play different versions of your game or the different games you do have. So it's an interesting take that they're actually going to separate it. Maybe it's for some more, to grow the actual IP itself a little bit more independently from that. Or maybe it's a deal with side games. We don't know. But what we want to know is what you guys think about it. Do you guys think that it is a smart move for GrandBlue to be separated? Is there benefits for it? Or do you think it's not? You think you should have kept it together? We'll be putting up the polls on Twitter. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on all our platforms. It's going to be a quick yes or no, so don't worry. It's going to be an easy guess for you guys, but we want to hear from you guys. Is it a good idea for GrandBlue to break off and do its own circuit? Let us know what you guys think about it. All right, so with that, we've got one last topic to get into today. So we did talk about a new kid on the block, a new fighting game that, funnily enough, we did cover it when it was first announced, but GDC just passed and there's a new trailer that dropped. You guys remember the game Coreupt, spelled Coreupt? Core. It's a futurist. All right, look, Cora. Yeah. This ain't a spelling bee, dog. Deodorant. Anyway, so Coreupt has had a new trailer that dropped during GDC that just passed, and this is basically a futuristic based fighting game, super fast action. If you take a look at the trailer, look at the characters, just the entire presentation, you're gonna get like feels of like some Marvel, definitely because of things like the super jumps and the way the combos are, but also you're kind of getting maybe more of a feel of even like KI, the way the combos and the routes are actually pushing. So this had a new trailer, just breaking down just some of the new stuff that's coming in, or rather how it's actually been developed since it's been last shown, because I think it was shown last September was the last time we saw it, because we did cover it on highlighting it, because hey, if it's a new fighting game, why the hell not?
I mean, I definitely think the graphics improved since the last time we saw it, and it looks cleaner. It does remind me of like MVCI because even the super effects aren't there, but they do the stoppage like Marvel. And I'm like, man, this is a Marvel ass type style combos. Like they're just still going. And I'm like, I hope that there's some level of like breaking out, like having a burst or something. But it looks cool. I like the style of the game.
Something. Yeah, for sure. It's very fast paced. It's right up our alley. So they made it a point on their Steam page to put like, hey, Coreupt has been developed in Unreal Engine, I'm assuming 5, features a cast of highly polished characters and each showing their own personalities and styles. They take over their foes. Good. That's a good start. That's a good start for a fighting game. They have their own identities. Awesome, right? I'm with you. Each model has been rendered with deadly precision, ensuring that not only does the game play smoothly, but the characters also look flashy as they beat each other up to a pulp. With over 12 widely diverse fighters to try out, everyone can find a favorite character with the roster. Awesome. Characters, different types, looks good. The reason I'm bringing this up for one to obviously show it off, right? Highlight it because it's awesome. Anytime a new fighting can come out, I'm for it. Because especially in on indie games, you get an opportunity to just try shit, right? It's not a legacy game. It's not like it has to work a certain way. You could just try shit without having, like insane backlash, right? Like, as long as it's a fun game, like, it works out. So you get it, it's just, that's just standard across gaming in general, right? Like AAA games are not taking risks. The indie guys are always going to try something interesting, right? Because they have that opportunity to do so.
I want to tell you right now, the best part of this game so far as trailer stuff. And if you go to check out Jesse Wright on Twitter, it's at JW_correlated.
Correlated, yeah.
Correlated. They are the developer of this game, and one thing I love about it so far that they've captured me is the music. It feels like a Third Strike meets like, jungle-esque, like hip-hop, jazz together. It's dope. I think it's one of the things that is right now capturing me outside of the aesthetics of the game. Obviously, playing like Marvel. Anything that plays like Marvel, I'm going to play it.
Yeah, so that's the main reason why I brought it up, because looking at it, I was instantly like, yo, yeah, I'll check that out. That's dope. And I had to like think about it. I'm like, wait, why did I just subconsciously made the decision to give that shit, give that a try, right? Give that fighting game like an actual, like, try to actually sit down, learn the mechanics, see what it's about, the training. So that's what like my questions coming up is coming from is like, what's like what determines your decision to begin playing a new fighting game? This is like the perfect example because it's fresh, it's new, it's coming out of left field, doing their own thing. It's clearly it's someone that is a fan of fighting games. Otherwise, you wouldn't really jump into this ring unless you were about it. So like, wanted to go around the room just to get some feels for it. So for me, I know, Mazza, you were just talking music, right? The music hits you, right? Like, so you like, if you're hearing good music and like presentation, are you already like kind of locked in from that?
It's something that definitely captures me. If I think the aesthetics of the game are good, but it fits the aesthetic of the games, I'm like, most of his scenes are in the wild. It does feel like I'm playing the music that he's throwing my way. I'm like, oh, this is kind of hype. Like I can feel like this is where I would want to see the music be. Because I've always been big on music in games, like from MVC2 to, CBS2, Third Strike. I love all those unique styles of music. So even rival schools, stuff like that. It's different.
Just bangers.
Right?
You just want bangers in your fighting games, right?
Power Stone.
Power Stone. Yeah, no, for real, absolutely. Like, if a fighting game has trash music, it's a put off. Like, you don't ever want to be playing a game that you want to put down the music and you have to play your own, right? To feel it, right? There's a reason why Gabe is very adamant about when people pick certain songs in Guilty Gear. Or when he can't pick the song.
Oh, he's judging them.
Gabe will judge a player, like even during tournament match. He did it during Arc World Tour. It's just like, oh, he's picking a song. Oh, that's a trash ass song. How'd you pick that?
Did he lose? Yeah. Then that should say
maybe.
Everything.
Sometimes the song buff is not sometimes. The song buff is real. Like, the song buff is very much real.
Don't know if they lost, but I do remember I was like, it looks like they can't pick their song, so they just had to go with a newer song,
Gotcha. What about you, Stata? You got a chance to check out the trailer. What about it? I actually don't even know. Has it hooked you? And if it did hook you, what was it about it that you're like, okay, like I'll try this out?
The aesthetic, the look of it. I do like the there's I don't know what it is. Like people really like a really shiny fighting game. I do too. Yeah, the colors in the background, the vibrancy.
Lights? Huh? Yeah. Who doesn't like the pretty lights?
The vibrance. But then at first glance, I wasn't too on it because I was, the camera angles, and then I saw there was like the second or third clip where the characters looked a little bit bigger and they just looked a little bit like you could see them. But even if they're just silhouettes, that's actually kind of cool to me because then you could see with that one character who's doing like a bunch of just kicks, like doing everything with kicks and going from the air to the floor. Kind of attracted me with the whole with the gun shooting and the supers at the end. What I don't like though is like, because I don't know the mechanics, why do you want to make the combo long? Are you making the combo long to try to get the kill, especially in a 1v1 game? Or are you making the combos long because you're building up super to get to a super meter? Because then there's this Virgil-like character who's just doing a lot of combos. So and doing a long combo. So, sometimes I'm looking at it like, are they doing it for a long combo? Because in Power Rangers, you do a long combo because you can either kill or get that heavy knockdown. Mezza, you played Power Rangers for a while, right?
Yes. That's what I kind of got a little bit of that feeling from Power. Like this felt like a little bit of Power Rangers. And I was like, people don't really like when you don't get to play the game. So that's a really scary aspect.
What the fuck are you talking about? I strictly play fighting games to make it a one-player game. I don't give a shit.
You are not the master who's getting hit and not playing.
I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
I hit
that's
you,
why this
you're going to hold this for 30 seconds. I'm sorry. GG's. Go next. Like, it is what it is. And you know what? And when it happens to me, it is what it is. I'm just like, cool, hands off the stick. Yeah, it's been cool. I'll have a conversation with whoever's coming. Yeah, that's bullshit, right? Yeah, ain't that some shit? All right, next time.
This is the time where I have to bring John here and I say, casuals, right? Casuals, they don't understand.
I thought that's the only thing you were going to say. Casuals. And I was going to get into the conversation.
Casuals, yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, any game where you have zero recourse, even if it's deserved, right? Like you big whiff, and now like this guy just got your legs in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you deserved it, but still, like casual players, they don't care about that. They're like, okay, like I don't want to be punished for the rest of the round, for the game. So I definitely get what Mezza is saying.
So yeah, I mean, I get that on that side too. But also, just want to premise this. This is clearly very early. Like, the game is developing. My man came out strong with just like, yo, here's the shit that looks good. Here's particle effects. Here's fucking dive kicks. Here's fucking long combos. Here's supers. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that got me. Right. If I would just lock down as to what pulled me in, honestly, it was the aesthetics because I love the design. Yeah. I'm big on the design of characters, how they're rendered, how they look in game. I don't want to say that's a snob thing to do. It's just, I don't know. I have an art background, so that's like what I look for. Because if it's just not pleasing to my eyes to see, I'm just not going to give it a time. Like, there's a reason why Stellar Blade's doing good. There's a damn good reason why Stellar Blade's going to do good. It's because it's rendered right. That's why, right? Like, everybody knows. But for this game, that's what got me. I like the direction of how the style looks. Then the gameplay is like right there behind it. I love the fast pace. Who doesn't like Marvel? I'm up there for it.
I also like when they know what the camera knows what it's doing. Like following that's something that's huge. Now, I'm not saying that Power Rangers didn't, but there were some times where it was hard to watch because it would zoom out so much because I had to make space for the Megazords. But this is knowing what it's doing.
Okay.
That game didn't know what it was doing sometimes. But I will say, he did state that this is not only just a single player game. So
I see.
It can be a 1v1 from what I was looking and reading up. That he did state that they have multiple game modes catering to both solo and multiplayer experiences. So that might be interesting, obviously outside of online. But he does say assemble your team for a diverse roster of fighters from all corners of the galaxy. So I'm thinking maybe it's a 2v2 or 3v3, or you could do 1v1, or the Skullgirls effect, which I would love for the Skullgirls effect.
A ratio?
Yes. If this person does a ratio effect for their game, I think it is one of the most underexplored and most difficult things to achieve. Skullgirls has fought with it for a long time and done a very fairly good job. with catering
classic,
towards not
like
making
CVS
it broken.
2 and all.
Yeah, not making it broken, but also making it very fun and explorable. But CVS 2 and CVS 1 CVS 1 a little bit harsher. CVS 2 did a better job with realizing that some of the characters need to be ratio characters that are playable. So,
yep. For sure. So you can check out more of it. Like I said, JW_core CRORE Lated LATED for Jesse Wright. Go check that out. This is already live on the Steam page as well. So all you have to do is look up Coreupt. Add it to your wish list. I did. I'm down. There is going to be an open beta happening this summer, so you can get involved and jump into it, get some feedback. This is indie dev doing his thing. Clearly a fan of fighting games. No reason why I couldn't get some input, get some awesome people out there that are, have the same kind of passions to go in, play, get some feedback, and make this an even better game, right? So an open beta test is happening early 2024 for summer. And with that, actually, that kind of like brings us to my question that I wanted, that kind of started the whole conversation, is for you guys. So I want you guys to check out this trailer. Anyone, all our listeners out there, what determines your decision to begin playing a new fighting game? It doesn't have to be just this. This is just an example. But like if you're checking out a game you have not played before, any fighting game that maybe comes up and you're just like, you got to give it the yay or nay right off the rip if you're going to even invest training, the tutorial. What is it? What aspect needs to kind of be in your checklist to make it happen, right? Is it the aesthetics? Is it the gameplay? Is it the characters, right? The character design, the possible features that it has. Do you're like, okay, obviously it's gonna have versus, but I'm like, do you want to make sure it has survival mode, more offline modes, score attacks, different features that you can actually play by yourself to mess around with, or is it a baseline of things that you need to make sure to have? It's like, oh, it needs to have a character that can do this, and it needs to have rollback netcode, which, by the way, this game does indeed have rollback netcode. It doesn't have it stated on the Steam page, but I found out it actually does. So that was one of mine. I'm like, it needs to have rollback, right? It's like a baseline for fighting games. Like if it doesn't have no rollback, no play, right? Like that's just how it is. But is that one of your aspects? So once again, let us know what determines your decision to begin playing a new fighting game. Let us know. We're going to have this up once again on Twitter. We're going to have this up on all platforms. It's going to be also on our Discord, which is at doubletap.gg/Discord. Join in, get involved there. We'll be posting it up. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know your thoughts on it. And with that is going to be the end of our show this week, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us for another episode of Double Tap. Of course, I have been Crash. You can follow me at CrashTagVS. We've got my awesome host here, Static Gorilla, at Static Gorilla, on all social media platforms, whether he's playing Tomb Raider or Marvel and getting mopped or not. Thanks. I said not. You didn't let me finish. See, look at you. Damn. That's what you get. You didn't even let me. I have faith.
Okay.
Like that much, but or Tekken, because I've seen him play Tekken. You actually rock out in Tekken.
I beat one person. I did get my first win, so thanks. Yeah, that's cool.
There you go.
I did it.
Fighter.
See, I'm a professional confidence builder. That's what I do. Okay. All right, and then we've got Meza, of course, at Meza FGC on all social media platforms as well. DNF Duel, you were just rocking. You were just going through the gauntlet recently in a tournament. Playing and streaming it, right?
Yeah, got fourth. That was really fun. I actually wasn't streaming it. I kind of let Shadow Royals do that, but for me, I mean, my new
you were streaming it on Discord. That's
DFO, my DFO tournament Nightfall starts back up this April 6th. They have a long league season ahead that'll end in December. So
there you go. And even though he's been quiet, he's just here to make sure we're in check here. Make sure to follow at Josh Radamas. I know he doesn't use it a lot on Twitter, but you're on Blue Sky, right?
Yeah. Somebody followed me on Blue Sky. I can't remember exactly who. Sorry, I've been boring there too. I've just been working, man.
We appreciate it. Hey, you know what? Hey, nobody here is going to knock you for that. Remember, guys, if you guys are enjoying the show, you make sure to give some love to Josh, because he is the one that pulls a lot of the work to make sure it does go out on a timely fashion. He berates us and knocks us down whenever we're fucking up to make sure you, the listeners, do get the show. So we do appreciate him for that. Make sure to follow the show at DoubleTapFGC on all social media platforms as well. We're also on Blue Sky. I know I haven't been as active there, but we have been getting people going in there and following. We do appreciate that. We will be posting up in there. I'm putting it on my list to make sure to add that to the repertoire of things to do throughout the week. You guys can, of course, join us. Once again, I just said it earlier, our Discord, doubletap.gg/Discord. Come join us there. Come get active with our community. If you want to run sets like we did right after our Arc World Tour, if you want to get involved in, of course, our question of the week, or even discuss articles or questions that you want to bring up on the show, that's the spot to be at. There's always a place for you. If you play fighting games, if you're mashing any kind of buttons whatsoever, that's the spot to be at. Come in, say what's up, come meet the awesome community that we have there. Shout out to everyone that is in there and being active and talking awesome stuff. I'm really learning a lot from you guys. I'm really enjoying the stories, and I'm really enjoying how the community is reacting to like announcements and all. I can't wait. So once again, make sure to join us, doubletap.gg/Discord. Check us out there. Also, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Engage with our community post there. We do post up question of the weeks. We post up our polls, and we are very active on all our comments. Like 99% of them. If I missed one or two or three, my bad. I'll get to them, I swear, at some point. But yeah, all love there. Make sure to subscribe. Once again, it's at Double Tap FGCs all across the board. Just make sure to search that on any social media platform. Chances are you will find us there. We'll be live, of course, with a new episode. Well, we're not live. We'll have a new episode live for you guys, of course, next week. So just, make sure to stick around for that. If you enjoyed this episode, you can check it out on a weekly basis. In the meantime, though, that is going to be it for us this week. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I've been Crash. That's been Static. That's been Meza. That's been Ja. All love, peace. A.B.A's coming out tomorrow. Good luck to everybody. Later.